Hi everybody. So today I want to take a look at 10-2 with you. Now in this section there's two main parts. There's the circle stuff, mainly area and circumference. I think that's pretty straightforward and I think you can figure that out on your own. It's just area is equal pi r squared, circumference is 2 pi r. Let me know if you do have any questions though and I'll help you out with that. But what I do want to spend some time on is finding the area of regular polygons, because that's more complicated. Okay, so let's take a look at a problem from the book. Let's look at problem number 6 from the textbook. Okay, so with this one, they only give you like one piece of information. You see this figure right here. It's a regular polygon. Okay, it's 6 sides. And they give you this measurement right here. Okay, so it goes from the center to one of the vertices of the polygon. Okay, so, well, what do we need to do to find area? Well, there's this formula you can use, and it's right here. So, to find area, it's 1/2 times A, which is the apothem. And the apothem is kind of like a radius, okay, for these regular polygons. Except it does not go from the center to a vertex, okay? It goes from the center to the right angle of one of the sides, okay? So 10 is not A in this case, okay? We need to find A. We got to find the apothem, okay? So it's 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter of the shape. Okay, well, we don't know how long the sides are either, right? So that's another thing we got to find. So how do we do that? Well, we have to use trigonometry to do this. So if you notice, if I drew in this line right here, I draw in the apothem, which goes from the center right to a right angle, you can see it creates a right triangle. So once you have that right triangle, you can use trig to find all your missing information. Okay, so you got one side, that's the hypotenuse in this case. But you need one more piece of information, right? You're going to need one of the angles. And the trick is you got to remember how to find central angles. Okay, so remember this right here, that big triangle like this that's defined by this. That central angle is going to be equal to 360 degrees divided by the number of sides. Well, how many sides do we have? We have 6. So the central angle in this case is 360 divided by 6, or 60 degrees. Okay, so when we think about it then, if we look down here, I drew the triangle out a little bit bigger. That measurement right here is going to be half of that 60 degrees because you have that 60 degrees is for this bigger triangle here. We just want half of that, okay? So that measurement right there is 30 degrees. Great, all right. So now we have an angle, we got one side. Oh, that's all we need really. We can use trig. Let's find the A first, using trig. So let's find this one, A. What is A? If I'm working with the 30 degrees, right, that is an adjacent side, and we have the hypotenuse. So that means we're going to be working with cosine. So we have the cosine of 30 degrees is going to be equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent in this case is A. Hypotenuse is 10. All right, so A is going to be equal to, my thing keeps on coming, it's 10. So we got 10 times the cosine of 30 is equal to A, and you can work that on your calculator, and you should get about 8.66 inches. Okay? Now you need to find one of the sides, right? So you got to find X now, because we need the perimeter as well. Same exact process for that. We're just going to use trig. Except now we're working with the opposite and the hypotenuse. I don't recommend, you could in theory use this side, but I always like using givens. So if I make a mistake on one, I don't propagate that throughout the entire problem. So let's do that again. So now I'm working with the sine of 30 degrees. It's again this opposite over hypotenuse, x over 10. Very similar type of problem. 10 sine of 30 is equal to x. And again, you can work this on your calculator. X is going to be equal to 5. Okay? So, what do we need again? We need this, right? We need the area of the polygon is equal to 1/2 times the apothem times the perimeter. Okay, we got the apothem already. We just need to work out the perimeter now. Okay? So, if this is equal to 5, that means we have 5 here, 5 there. So each side is going to be equal to 10. Okay? So if each side is 10, and we got 6 sides, the perimeter is equal to 60. Okay? And that's all we need. So area is going to be equal to 1/2 times the apothem, which is 8.66. The perimeter is 60. And so the area of this figure is 259.8. And this is the units we're using are inches here. These are all inches. Perimeter since inches. Okay? So, and the rest of the problems are very similar to this one. Sometimes you can get away with only using the trig functions once, depending on what they give you. Sometimes they give you enough information right away to use this formula directly. Okay? But the key thing is, you have to set up your little triangle, okay, and figure out, well, what pieces do I have? What do I need to find? Okay? This is about as complicated as it will get, though. Okay? The other problems tend to be a little bit simpler than this one, maybe not requiring you to use trig twice, but this is the basic idea here. Okay? So please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.